This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast. We come to you daily with short business episodes, short private equity episodes, interviews with brilliant private equity and business colleagues, and a lot more. These are 14 stories that we're following today, and thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. First, the markets rebounded last week in a terrific way. It was a good week for the markets, one of the best of the year. Second, the NASDAQ is now back up to 19.4% year to date. A great reversal from just last week. Before the start of last week, it was up 13% year to date. Third, the S&P 500 is also up 17.11% year to date. Fourth, the markets, they opened sort of flat this morning. Now they're up for the day. We'll see if that lasts. Fifth, Macy's stock is up this morning. It's expecting better profits on slightly lower revenues. Its revenues are a little bit lower, but it closed a number of stores, and this has helped it be more efficient and more profitable. The stock does remain down 12% year to date. Sixth, the Wall Street Journal had a report on about 20 companies that have cut jobs this year, have announced job cuts. Often that's an effort to become more profitable, more efficient, or others do it out of desperation. We've got a separate podcast on 14 of those companies cutting jobs. I'll just list 5 of them that show up. There are lots of big names: Cisco Systems, Intel, Alphabet, Google, Apple, Amazon, and then Stellantis Jeep, which has just been a cluster so far. But those are 5 of the many companies that are cutting jobs. Interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal. Seventh, unemployment has risen to 4.3%. Chairman Powell tried to do this tricky balance of bringing inflation down without rocking or hurting the economy too much. Seems to be hitting it right down the middle at the moment. Eighth, Surgery Partners fell 3.2% on Friday. It's down 9% year to date. Their CEO, Eric Evans, is outstanding. Ninth, Intuitive Surgical is up 42% year to date. 3 quick notes. They've got their Da Vinci 5 systems being installed. A lot more systems, seems to be going great. Gary Guthart, their CEO, quietly one of the very best CEOs of our generation. We speak about him in our business book, The Entrepreneur's Edge, How to Build, Grow, and Manage a Business. We also have a shout out in the book to Mohan Giridas, an incredible leader at Leantas. And then finally, I'm thrilled to get to speak next month at Intuitive 360 in Orlando. Separately, Zacks Equity Research has a story, reasons to add Intuitive to your portfolio now. Fascinating. 10th, the Democratic National Convention kicks off this week in Chicago, or today. And I think what's fascinating about this election coming up is I think that Harrison Walz is likely to win this election as long as the world doesn't blow up further and the economy doesn't blow up. If neither of those two things happen, I think people will vote for status quo, whether there's underlying problems that are serious or not. And that could change. That picture could change. We'll see what happens over the next few months. And always interesting. 11th, Tempus AI, founded by Eric Lefkowski and recommended by Jim Keller, is up 27% year to date. Eric's a genius. Jim's a genius. You know, how many times do I have to say that I should have listened to Jim Keller, either Jim Keller, the doctor, Jim Keller, the personal injury lawyer, and I forget to do so. 12th, one of the core pieces of business advice we think about is always taking your best people on your best clients and your best customers, your best opportunities to be a constant mantra in business. 13th, Estee Lauder is down 6% pre-market. 14th, we're excited to have Michael Phelps, the great Olympic swimmer, speaking at our Becker's Healthcare annual meeting next spring. Also excited for the McGuire Woods Healthcare Private Equity Conference being held next May in Chicago. Lastly, we've got our Healthcare Business Plus Buddies golf outing next week. A great group of golfers. In any event, anytime you have a topic or an idea, feel free. 773-766-5322. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very, very much.